There we go. Everyone's out in the garden, probably enjoying the sun. I've been stuck in doing vlogs, so there you go. But it's my own choice. I don't have to do that. I might nip out for half an hour later on. You never know. Big Morgan. I can always rely on Big Morgan to come in there. How are you still licking your wounds, Bernard? I'm absolutely okay most of the time until I come across a video or a picture of that old Big Ears trophy being picked up by some guy in dark blue. I don't even know who it is, to be honest with you. But yeah, how are you? How are you feeling? Evening, Chris. How are you doing, mate? What have Morecambe ever done to you, Chris? Poor old Morecambe. Picking on Morecambe. The Shrimpers. Are they called the Shrimpers, Morecambe Bay? Are they called the Shrimpers, a nickname? I'm not too sure. Is that what they're called? Yes, I'm doing all right, Chris. Recovered just about. I won't recover. When I go and work Thursday morning, that's when I'll get a bit of stick. That's when it'll hit me again, when the United fans start having a go. But there you go. There's a Liverpool fan at work, but he always wants City to win. He doesn't mind City winning. He just doesn't want United to win anything. So that's not too bad. What's happening with Sterling, Big Morgan? Is he... if Sterling's the answer, what's the question, mate? It was, Chris. It was a successful season. Yeah, Sterling. Interesting. If you watch my player ratings for the Champions League games, you can guess who came bottom, didn't you? Even before that game, and yet he started the match. But hey, there you go. I'm sure Pep knows what he's doing. Perhaps not, but there you go. But we trust in Pep, don't we? It was a successful season. Still two trophies in the bag. That's all I say to United fans if they say anything. They say, well, yeah, we'll have to go. We'll have to have that. I think we could do with the FA Cup, though, Chris. I think the FA Cup could do with winning. I'm sick of this Carabao. I like the Carabao Cup, but there you go. Sterling, the bane of my life. Why is that, Morgan? Why is Sterling the bane of your life? I mean, apart from him... Just imagine if that through ball from Edison in the first few minutes, just imagine if he controlled it and slotted that home. I mean, what glory. Absolute. Do you think we would have gone on to win that game then? So lifts and maybes and buts and everything, isn't it? But there you go. Yeah. Do you think he'll be going, Big Morgan? Do you think Raheem? Chris doesn't want him back? I know that. I know Chris doesn't want him back at Liverpool. That's for sure. Yeah, Chris, I don't know what he was doing, Chris. He always was likely to throw a wobbler and say there was literally one player different to the team I had put out on my previews, just one player. And obviously it was a crucial player, wasn't it? I had Fernandino in, and obviously Pep decided to put Sterling in, which is... but he put him in to get behind, didn't he? Get behind Chelsea. But, I mean, I'm sure Phil Foden could have done that as well. Bye, Raz. Do you think he's gone, Big Mo? Who's going to have him, though? Who's going to take him? He's not on a free, is he? Who's going to take Raz off our hands? Do you think a European team might still think he's pretty good? Yeah, he might be good. He might actually be good somewhere else. It might do him the world of good to go somewhere else. But I was watching some of the stuff he did a couple of seasons ago today, and it was amazing. He looked like a bit, like a Super Sane. But I don't know where that Raz has gone, to be honest with you. He might turn it on for England in the European Championships, might he? What do you think about that? I might get a few quid for him then. Let's see how he... The trouble is, it might knock his price down when he plays for England. Oh, poor Raz. Bless him. Bless him. How old is he now? Is he 20, 27, 28? Something like that? He's got to be knocking on a bit now, hasn't he? Yeah, Pep overthunk it. I think he did. Well, I don't know what's going on with Pep. It's as though he wants to give other teams a chance, Pep. It's as though he doesn't want to just take a game and win it, as though he wants to give other teams a chance. Chris, depends which team has money in these circles. That's it, Chris. I mean, they're spouting about all these fees for Kanes and the Haalands and all this lot. I mean, I think teams will be looking for 20, 30, 40 million bargains. I don't think they're paying 80, 100 million for players. Big Morgan, I have the engine running. Where do I drop Sterling off the Atlantic? I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Sterling. I mean, obviously Pep must see things we don't see. I don't know. And he's never going to... Players aren't going to gang up on him, are they? But And his form's just gone down the pan. Also, I think he had a purple patch about January and February. And when I say a purple patch, he played okay for 3 or 4 games. But he actually he wasn't one of our worst players on Saturday, I don't think. There's a lot worse than him. But obviously, crucially, where it matters, he didn't do it, did he? That's the problem. There's a lot of worse players who scored less in my ratings on Saturday than Raheem Sterling, unfortunately. But I don't know what their excuse was. KDB was having a nightmare before he got flattened. I didn't sort of take any prisoners with me, Marc, on KDB. I thought he was having an awful game, even until he got flattened. But he didn't have a chance to turn it round, did he? Unfortunately. Chris, if Morecambe win, then I'll give them credit; they deserve it. But I don't like the fans always start a fight. All right, is that in real life, Chris? Up at the games in real? Is that a Twitter fight or real fight in the ground and stuff like that? Is that what it is? Sterling needs to go for his own benefit. Yeah, well, this is it, Big Morgan. But I mean, obviously, psychological, isn't it? I mean, a lot of that game was psychological. I think on Saturday, I do think Chelsea definitely thought we were beatable. They were confident. He had them very well organised, and I think that was part and parcel of it. I think they were quite confident they beat City, and we looked quite nervous. The way we started, certainly John Stones looked like a nervous wreck, and it sort of passed its way across the squad, didn't it, really? Chris, it's shocking, isn't it, mate? I know we don't see it as much in the Premier League now, but it's not good, is it? No, it's not good in this day and age. I mean, they want to grow up a bit, don't they? But I say I was there in the 70s and 80s, so yeah, I've no room to talk. I didn't cause any trouble, but I wouldn't. I always stood my ground if there was trouble. But yeah, it is shocking. Simon's Mahrez, Simon. Mahrez, Foden, KDB, Bernardo was all crap. Yeah, I mean, my rating, Simon. There's only Walker, I think, and I was kind with Edison. I didn't give him a low mark, but I think it was only Walker that came out of it with reasonable marks from memory when I did my player ratings. Our big players just didn't turn up, and all. If you think about the last third of the season, we've had this good run, but we've always relied on 2 or 3. Not all the players have turned up every game. There's been quite a lot of games where some of our big names just haven't turned up for it. If you look at the player ratings, there's always 2 or 3 below par. I mean, Bernardo has been a little bit below par, but he's always put the effort in, but it didn't count for much on Saturday. Morgan, Pep needs a number 2 to advise him. Well, he's got Mr. Lilo, hasn't he? Lilo Lil. He's got him, hasn't he? I think he's got yes men around him, Morgan. I think I don't think Pep's an easy guy to deal with. I think as a manager, it's his way or the highway, isn't it? I was reading Sean Goulter today and his problems he had with Kevin Keegan, and we're doing a little thing on his book for one of the book club features. And he's just one of those managers that isn't very, very. He's got his way, and that's all there is to it. And if you upset him, he sort of shuns you. I think he sort of shuns you out a little bit. That's my impression. I might be totally wrong. I've never spoke to the guy. I don't know the guy, but that's the impression I get from these teams he picks, and the fact he won't change tactics. He never changes tactics, does he? I mean, that was crying out for a half-time change of tactic on Saturday, and he didn't do it again. But again, that was what he doesn't do, so it didn't surprise me one iota. Well, Big Morgan, I said the other week, I said, get rid of Lilo, give us £1 over minimum wage, and I'll be there to advise. And Mr. Carson, he's Scott Carson, he keeps the morale up of the team. I'll do that for £10 an hour. Give us £10 an hour. I'll go and do the morale for the team. It don't bother me as long as I can go and watch the matches as well. I mean, if you want me to play, I'll even play. I'm not bothered. You know what I mean? So it's a bit of a cue there, Morgan, for second in command, Mr. Chuckles, the entertainment manager at the Etihad. I think that's what the position they need, the entertainment manager. I think it's Scott Carson at the moment. But as you said, that Lilo Lil, I think Brian Kidds takes a back seat now, doesn't he? He's there, but I don't think he gets involved. Certainly he's a morale guy, I would have thought, and a contact with the players, isn't he? I think Pep uses these guys to chat and get to know and keep the players happy, I think. I'm 3. You're 3, Big. Well, that's typical of you, mate. You always have to undercut me, don't you? I mean, all right. I'll do it for £1 an hour then. Not £10 an hour. You sound like him out of Are You Being Served, Morgan? I'm free. So, Chris, how's your darts going? Have you won any more trophies, mate? Have you won any more darts? That was quite impressive, those darts trophies you had on your wall, mate. I never won a trophy at darts. I won a few quid, but I never won a trophy. And then again, I never played for any team, so it was quite hard to win a trophy if you don't play for anybody, isn't it? No, that's great. I love those darts trophies, mate. I'll pay him. Well, you're getting worse, Morgan. You're selling yourself short, mate. You know, at least go for what? I don't know. What's it? I mean, if you said 20 quid an hour, I'm sure they'd bite your hand off. I'm sure they would. 30 quid an hour, whatever it is. No, who do you think? Do you think United would want Sterling? Think United would have him? I don't think he'd go to United, to be honest with you. Then again, you never know. If we build him up a little bit, they might do. Simon, if you're still there, mate, who did you think did have a good game on Saturday? If they were rubbish, who would you put down as having a good game on Saturday? Pep knows how to ruin it well, he does. I mean, imagine if you'd gone, Morgan. Imagine if you were there. I mean, I know a lot of people are saying, hello, mate. Hello, Carlton, Jay. How you doing, bud? Yeah, imagine those guys who went. Walker. What about, do you like... Oh, Walker had a great game. Wolves could take Sterling. Well, they need a new manager. Have they got one yet, Morgan? I'm not too sure. All these guys who went down said obviously they loved the time there, but obviously the game ruined it. But and all these people saying, "Well, we got to a Champions League final." That's not good to me. I don't care about getting to a final. It's winning it that matters to me. It's all about the winning, not the getting there. So I can appreciate that. But yeah, Wolves would have to offload a few first, Morgan, before they take Sterling. To be honest with you, won't they? Let's be honest about it. Carlton, with Walker, what are you saying about Walker, mate? You're saying that he had a good game. It's all on Pep. Well, I think it's a bit of both, Carlton. I mean, I think Pep, I did say in my review of the game that I think he hung the players out to dry. He's expecting them to play in different positions, and all of a sudden he expects them to just turn on and play an important game against, let's face it, they're a well-organised, good team, Chelsea. Tuchel's got them really well, and Pep did hang them out to dry a little bit. So he certainly doesn't escape criticism from me. We can't criticise what he's done for us, but that doesn't mean we can't criticise him on a game-by-game basis. But yeah, I think so, Carlton. I don't disagree with you, mate. Yeah, Simon, let's say Walker was probably the only guy who looked committed to me. I mean, we even do the Cheltenham Town throw-ins at the end, weren't we, to try and get something back. That shows how desperate we were. Yeah, Morgan, I think he's... Yeah. I don't know. Does it say about form being temporary and class being permanent? But he's not showing that any sort of class at the moment, is he? I mean, there's no sort of level of that at the moment. Carlton overthinking again. He needs to see a psychologist. This is a pattern. Well, it is Carlton. Don't forget. I mean, this started with Bayern Munich, didn't they? I mean, Bayern Munich were a cracking team. I don't think he messed around too much with them, but there's got to be a reason why. I mean, they were the far superior team, at least in a couple of those seasons where they didn't win the Champions League, and yet they just didn't do it. There's got to be something, hasn't it? It's literally happens. They go on about Messi. You can only win it with Messi, don't they? But I think it's a bit deeper than that. And I think they say he didn't do it by Munich. He's not doing it with us. I mean, for the sake of winning a Champions League, yeah, I would probably like a new manager to do that. But he's got to do something. There's something got to happen. He's got to have. Perhaps he goes home. Perhaps he goes home this summer. He's gone home for a bit, and he sees his family, which he needs to do. Recharge the bat. Perhaps he'll have a serious think, and we'll see a new Pep again. We saw a new Pep for the last 2/3 of the season. He started off a bit dodgy, didn't he? Let's be honest about it. He started off dodgy. The team started off dodgy. And then we saw a rejuvenated Pep, didn't we, towards the end, towards this build up to this Champions League. And then, obviously, as I say, it was just the game. I think he just fell into Tuchel. Tuchel just absolutely dominated tactically and psychologically. I think Pep does need to do perhaps something. Everyone said the same about Stones last season. He was crap now. Yeah, well, this is it, Simon. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to say that Sterling won't come back. There's nothing absolute. And the fact is, if he doesn't go, and I don't think they're going to offload him cheap, that means he'll stay. So that means, again, next season, there's nothing to say we won't see a bit of quality again from Sterling. As you said with Stones, I think Stones had personal problems last season. I think that was part and parcel of what was causing him a bother. I'm not sure Sterling has those. He may do. We don't know, do we? We're not told these things. But Morgan, bring back Mancini. No, we'll leave that. I mean, I loved his passion, mate, but yeah, it was never going to last long, was it? But yeah, well, we can't forget what he did for us, can we? Let's be honest about it. Carlton, if Zidane or Ancelotti had that team in the final, yeah, I agree, Carlton. I can't disagree, mate. I think with that team, the quality of that team, yeah, it is disappointing. He plays everyone in the correct position. Absolutely, Carlton. At the end of the day, my main argument was, yes, if you're going to play Gundogan as a defensive midfielder, you've got, as a Fernandinho role, you've got Fernandinho there. So why play Gundogan in that role? I just don't understand the logic. And if that means Gundogan is on the subs bench, or you bring him on later in the game if you need to, fair enough. But I don't understand any sort of logic. Gundogan didn't bring anything to that role. Certainly didn't bring anything to that role more than Ferner would have done. And Ferner and his we're hoping he's going to stay. But I mean, how pissed off would you be if you were Fernandinho? Be absolutely raging. Yeah, I mean, Ancelotti and Zidane, I mean, they play to the strengths, Carlton. Let's be honest about it. And sometimes Pep doesn't play to his strengths. He seems to, as you say, he just worries about the opposition a bit much and tries to keep the opposition on the toes. But then it ruins our setup. It ruins his own guys. It plays against us. I don't understand. And he's not going to talk to me and tell me, is he? Who's he going to talk to? And then to come out after the game saying they were exceptional. Oh, come on. I mean, that's push. You know, that's just. I mean, you can stick up for your players, you can stick up for your team, you stick up for your selection, but he does have some sort of a psychological problem somewhere, doesn't he? I mean, he's won us the league again, absolutely fantastic. He's won us the League Cup, which is all right. As I said, I'd rather have the FA Cup. We seem to be struggling in that most years for some reason. Gary, Gary, mate, how are you? How on earth Sterling got in the start 11 is beyond me. I have no idea, Gary. The lad's been bobbins all season. Pep's also not been playing him wrong. Team wrong tactics. Absolutely, Gary. I think Sterling would be better, a bit deeper, coming in, supplying rather than being put in on goal because he couldn't hit a barn door. That's what I've been saying for the last third of the season. Simon, you can't have Grealish play Sterling. I don't like Grealish, Simon. I must admit, he's not my sort. He'd be an okay squad player, but we're not going to pay silly money for Grealish. That's no way. We're going to pay 80. I don't think we're going to pay. I wouldn't pay 40. I'd pay 40 million, perhaps. I'm not going to pay 80 million for Grealish. Hello, Abu, mate. You all right? Pep has historic problems in Champions League, no doubt, because there were no margin for errors. Mostly one match decides, not as full. So he got his this is one-off games, Abu. Yeah, I say he did the same with Bayern Munich. Don't forget, and this is the problem. And we're not. I know we've done well in the Carabao Cup with B teams because a lot of teams play weaker teams, but we've never won the FA Cup, have we? Let's face it, FA Cups are one games, aren't they? You know, and Pep struggled a little bit in the FA Cup. So there's a lot in what you're saying, Abu. There, mate. I think I'd have to sort of agree there. Carlton, how is Ferner our captain on the bench? Absolutely no idea, Carlton. How sickening must that have been for him? How does he get the players on side for next season? I don't see how he... Yeah, I think that it's going to take some recovery, mate, innit? I think psychologically this has damaged our defence of the title next season. Cheers, Gary. Thanks, mate, yeah. Thanks, Abu. I think... this is it. I mean... let's face it, we give up the FA Cup, didn't we, guys? Let's face it, we give up the FA Cup. All right, it's hindsight, of course it is. But to win the Champions League. We didn't win the Champions League, so I wouldn't have minded an FA Cup, a League Cup, and a league title, would you? Having said that, we probably want to beat Leicester, but he does have a say, as we agree there. I think all of us are saying he does have a slight problem in big one-off cup games, doesn't he? And you need a bit of luck. We think perhaps we need a bit of luck in a cup, but it's not all luck, is it? It's actually playing to your strengths as well. He doesn't tend to do it. Anthony John, hi Anthony, mate. Need a clown for my granddaughter's birthday. Sterling available. How much do you pay, Anthony? I'll put on a red nose and some face paint if you want, mate. Oh, cheers, Carl. I do my best. I say we get. I think I'm sort of getting about 13 or 14 maximum guys on, but. I like doing these live things. I don't go mad on them. I don't do one every day like some other guys, but it's nice to connect with you all out there. But cheers, Carl. That's nice to hear, mate. And Anthony, just let me know where you want me, mate, and I'll get some makeup and my red nose on. We'll be sorted. Peter Davis, hi Pete, mate. FA Cup semi-final, Champions League runners-up, League Cup winners, Premier League champions. I'll set up for that. Yeah, absolutely, Peter. We are living the dream. Of course we are, but we could have been a little bit better, couldn't we? That's the thing. I've done in all my little summary of the Champions League. Hey, we have to take the 2 trophies. Of course we would. But we're greedy, aren't we? I mean, when we're doing so well like this, we should be doing more. I always think we should have won more FA Cups, Peter, to be honest with you. I always think, forget the Carabao Cup next season. Let's get the FA Cup. I want the FA Cup. I love it. I love the FA Cup. I want us to win that. If it means giving up on the Carabao Cup by playing weakened teams all the way through, and we virtually do that anyway, but playing the kids, for instance. But... yeah, I want the FA Cup, Peter. I would say I'd love the Champions League. I'd say Champions League, FA Cup, and the league next season. I'm greedy, Peter. I'd say while we're good, I want to get as much as we can because we're not always going to be good, are we? And let's face it, Peter, we've got a great team. We've got a great team at the moment. We should be winning. We should be winning as much as we can. And 2's good enough, of course it is. But I personally. I want a little bit more. And if it means we don't win anything for another 10 seasons after that, I don't care as long as we get us Champions League in the cabinet as well. That'll do for me. I'll be happy there. I can die a happy man. I mean, I'm 62 this year. So, I've... Thanks, Carlton, mate. Carlton's greedy as well, Peter. But I know what you're saying, Peter. I fully agree with you, mate. I'm not having to go at Pep or anything about what City have achieved. We just want to look at the things that are not quite working with the team he's got. Abu, do you think there are any pressure on Pep playing Sterling instead of Phil? I still cannot find. I can't know. Why would there be pressure to play Sterling? All he's played Sterling for is to get in behind Chelsea. But he had other players who could do that. I mean, Phil Foden, who's been superb on the left, could have done that because it's no good Sterling getting in behind Chelsea if he can't finish it off, if he can't score, if he can't put a cross in for somebody. So it's a waste of time. Well, that's right, Peter. But I'm just saying, I think, even before Pep, Peter, I think FA Cup's a bit of a thing for us, isn't it? I love the FA Cup. I know I'm being greedy. We've won, how many have we won? 7, is it? We've won in total, 6 or 7. But I just want a few. I want more, Pete. I'm sorry, mate. But it could have been 3 or 4 FA Cups, couldn't it, in 10 years? Let's be honest about it. This team deserved it. It did, mate. And Sergio deserved a Champions League, didn't he, guys? Let's be honest about it. That seeing him at the end crying was just all right. He's been part of City's team for 10 years now, so he's had. You can sort of say he's partly to blame. We haven't had a Champions League win because he's been playing in the team, but so close, just 90 minutes, wasn't it? 120 minutes plus penalties. I mean, I would have even had to go at penalties. He wouldn't have bothered me, but yeah. No one deserves anything, Carl, I suppose. No one actually deserves anything. You've got to earn it, haven't you? We didn't earn that. We didn't earn that on Saturday, unfortunately. Sterling is a terrible, Carl. Sterling is a terrible inverted winger. Foden should be left, a natural left winger against Chelsea. But I think I can see what Pep was trying to do, and he did explain what he was trying to do. But if you take Werner out and you take a defensive midfielder out of the equation, which he's not done for 60-odd games or whatever what it was, I don't see what that achieves. I don't think it achieves that much, and it didn't, did it? But I mean, I don't think most of us are speaking in hindsight. Most of us thought it was wrong in the first place. It's it's a lot of these things. If it works, always a genius. But it never looked like working, really, did it, guys? Let's be honest about it. We knew if Chelsea were a goal ahead, it was going to be a nightmare to get it back, and we let them get a goal ahead, and that was pretty much game over. Let's be honest about it. We, if KDB had stayed on, you never know. Well, he's a genius, isn't he? But I don't understand. I just don't understand. I say Sterling might have an absolutely wonderful Euros for England, be stunning and take players on, start scoring goals for fun again. We'll all be dead chuffed next season when he comes back, but we don't know. We don't know about that, really. Is there anything else on here about banners? There we go. Do you think... there we go. That's an interesting one. Do you think we can win it in 21-22, the Champions League? Do you think we can? Abu cannot play. No, I agree, Burn. FA Cup is still the cup I want every season as well as the Premier. It is, Anthony, that's my favourite. I want the FA Cup. And as I say, 2 in 10 years is okay. And I think Pete mentioned that before. But yeah, I'm greedy. I'm not greedy. I mean, let's face it, it's like anything. If you've got a cracking team and you've got a cracking team, you want to win as much as you can. Of course you do. And 2 trophies is wonderful. But I would say I do like the Carabao Cup, but just give us an FA Cup. Give us an FA Cup next season. I'll be happy with that, and go out of everything else early. At least we got an FA Cup, and it's just, if this Champions League had been played before the obviously we collected the Premiership trophy, it wouldn't have been as bad, would it? But it's because it ended the season with this, so it is. But hey, it didn't affect Liverpool last time, did it? They lost and then went and won it the season after. So I'm sure we've got a chance. Aguero being unveiled at Barcelona now. Well, that's I've seen him in the Barcelona kit today, Carlton. That was a bit depressing. But imagine him getting a chance to win it with Barcelona now and coming up against us. That'd be an absolute nightmare. It's live, is it, Carlton? All right. Well, say I don't usually watch these unveilings, but I hope he doesn't injure himself anyway. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to go on. Whether it'll be 2 years of playing non-stop, I doubt it very much. But it's not as physical, I don't think, is it? In Spain, the game, so he might be all right. And up there. Would you sell Sterling? Real Madrid offered 100. Oh, Peter, would you, Pete? I mean, yes, Peter. That's my answer. Would you agree with that? I'd sell Sterling for a £5, Anthony. Well, Anthony Johnson, there you go. All domestic companies should do better in the FA Cup. Yeah, T-Mac, I've just been saying that, mate. I just, one of the guys pointed out, we have won 2 in 10 years, but I just think with the team we've had, we should have won more than 2 in 10 years. And teams like United, don't forget, teams like United, when they dominated, anyone, they have dominated. Let's face it. Let's not mess around about this. Teams like United and Liverpool, when they dominated this league with a cracking team, they won lots and lots of trophies. And we are winning lots and lots of trophies, but I don't think we're winning them to the same level as the great United teams did or the great Liverpool teams did. All right, fair enough with United. It was all about one manager, wasn't it? Let's face it, in those years. But yeah, I think I'm just greedy. I know I'm being greedy. That's myself. I should think about back to York away and be happy. But hey, this is now, isn't it? Now's now. It doesn't matter what happened 30 years ago. I'm talking about what happens now with my football team. And I want everyone to know we got the greatest football team in the world. I want us to prove it as well. Carlton City better get a proper... Well, I think we're going to have Delap plus another next year, Carlton. I'm hoping. If we end up, we don't buy anyone and we just got Delap, we're going to have a funny old season again, aren't we? Carlton City needs to get a proper striker unless it's something... Yeah, he's got to do something, Carl. I mean, I know this false nine has worked a lot of the time. Of course it has, but you need an option. You need a striker option. And I love Delap. I think Delap's got great potential, but he's not going to be played that much next season. So he's got to get a seasoned striker as well. Who that'll be, I don't know, because we're not going to pay silly money. So unless we get Ings, someone like Ings, Danny Ings, something like that, I don't know. T-Mac, Aguero and Fiona both should have started on Saturday. Yeah, not so much Aguero, T-Mac. I thought if we saw Aguero, it'd mean we're in trouble, and it did, obviously, or we were winning easy. So, yeah, but Ferner was a definite T-Mac, in my opinion. You probably know if you've watched any of my little things on it anyway. Abu, in my opinion, I felt for the first time Chelsea, Pep did not respect Chelsea. So this is a final match, Champions League, not Carabao Cup. Commons, yeah, well, this is it. I'm sure he respected him. I'm sure Pep respects Tuchel, but let's face it, that's 3 times he's beat us now in 5-6 weeks or something. Tuchel will be like a pig in muck, guys, won't he? And Pep, I think it'll hurt Pep. Whether he'll learn from it, I don't know. Does he have to learn from it, or does he just carry on giving us league titles and the odd FA Cup or Carabao Cup? Well, Carabao Cup. I don't know. We've got another 2 years, haven't we, guys? People are saying he might stay longer. We've won 10 of the last 15. Absolutely, Peter. Yeah, 10 of the last 15. I can't deny that, mate. You're absolutely spot on. Is it as many as that? I'd say because you've got 3 out of the 4 last Premier Leagues, haven't you? And obviously, Carabao Cup equates for 5 of those, doesn't it? So if you like, it's 3 out of 10. Is it? Well, I can't think now. I can't even add up. We won 10 of the last 15. 5 Carabao Cups. 9, 6. Yeah. So yeah, so if you're not 5 of them are Carabao Cup. So it's 5 out of 10, isn't it, Pete? FA Cup and the league title. 5 out of 10 is not bad. No, it's not, Pete. No, it's not bad at all. Hi, Angus, mate. How you doing, bud? Yeah, no problem, Angus. Cheers, mate. Yeah, that was. It wasn't luck, really, was it? I think Chelsea thoroughly deserved it. I think Chelsea sussed us out and played really well and did the job, and they were physical and brave and big, and a lot of our guys weren't, apart perhaps from Walker, perhaps, but that's about it. Cheers, Anthony. See you later, bud. Thanks for coming on, mate. Team at Foden, Aguero, Mahrez up top, no striker. How Sterling bribed his way in, I'll never know. No, there's something wrong there. Team at more FA Cups. Yeah, I think Pete's spot on, mate. I think Pete's been positive, and there's nothing wrong with being positive. That's absolutely. But I just did say before, when United and Liverpool dominated, I think they sort of notched up the titles, didn't they? They notched up the trophies. Not matter which trophy it was. United always had a bit of a weak spot when they were winning loads of things for the was it the FA Cup? They didn't perhaps win as much as he should have done, and that's probably what we're doing, isn't it? But I think we have to, he never prioritises, does he, Pep? Perhaps we have to. I mean, we always go for it. All credit to City and all credit to Pep. We go for all 4 trophies. So yeah, for the fact that we do that, I think we've done tremendously well. Of course we have. Abu, you respect Tuchel, but not his team with this lineup, to be honest. Should have played Fernandinho as a pacemaker for City in defence. It's so devastating. Yeah, just look at the goal, Abu. The goal was shocking. It was shocking defending. We had no line. If we're going to play a back 4, have a back 4, not have them all over the pitch, and that's what happened. It was just poor tactically and naive. I think it was a lot of naivety as well. Michael, how you doing, mate? Great to see you, Michael. Just got out of work. Hi to all the chat. Oh, everyone's having a good bank holiday. You are dead right, Bernard. The big boys now, and we have to win it to keep our owners happy. That's it. I say I would swap everything next year just for a Champions League title. That's what I'd say now, and I wouldn't thought I'd say that a couple of years ago. I was quite happy with just winning the league title, but I would swap everything now for just a champion. But it's luck at the end of the day. But it's. I don't think do you think City don't win FA Cups and Champions League because we don't quite get the rub of the green? Do we not quite get the luck? I mean, we've had enough luck in our time, obviously, and you only make your own luck, of course. But do we need a little bit more of the football gods being nice to us? Euros next, Angus. Yeah, I'll try and watch some of that. I'll try and watch when England are playing and the City players, if they're playing. Is KDB out of Belgium now? I assume he might be all right if he can wear a mask. Yeah, cheers, Carlton, mate. All the best. Thanks for coming on, mate. Thanks for the kind words, Carlton. Cheers, buddy. Abu, to overcome the big loss, City need to win the EPL again next season. Apologies to their fans. Well, no, they don't need an apology, Abu. It is what it is, mate. They don't need to apologise. They've given us some great signs. But, yeah, I think to win the Champions, certainly now for the Champions League, let's win it when there's, we can get 15,000 there or something like that as well. That'll be fantastic. T-Mac, the reason why I say Aguero should have started is because there's a new natural striker. He would have thrived with Foden and Mahrez. Yeah, or Jesus, T-Mac. Jesus looked excellent when he came on. Chris, you had that sausage casserole last week. You like me, we have our regular things every week on the same day. You like me, have your regular food on certain days. I think the 2020 will be a comeback season for the Champions League. Look at Liverpool, they did it. Yeah, Angus, I think we might not win the league and win the Champions League, that'd be nice. But I'll probably get shot for that. City will get plenty. Yeah, of course he will, Chris. It's whether I will. I'm getting old now, mate. That's the problem. Peter, I'd love Tommy Doyle. Yeah, Tommy Doyle, Pete, spot on. I don't think Pep likes bringing young players through, though, Peter. I'm a bit worried about that with Pep as well. He say apart from Phil, he shies away, doesn't he? He had Delap in early season, and then he sort of dropped out after scoring a goal in the Carabao Cup, and then he didn't. If he had another game, didn't he? Then he sort of dropped him, and he never played for the first team again. But he's going to be there next year. But it's not one of his strongest points. Is it for Pep bringing young lads through? And I hope, Pete, I hope Ferner stays. Although if it was Ferner now, I'd be seriously considering whether I would stay or not after not being played for the Champions League final. We need game-changing footballers, Morgan. Yeah, well, who do you think, mate? Who's out there that's a game changer that can do a job for us? Who would you suggest can change a game? I mean, there's not many Messis about now, is there? Or Ronaldo's about, or whatever. KDB can change a game. He didn't get much opportunity in the first half, and he didn't get a lot of opportunity in the second half, did he, to do that on Saturday? Angus, I can see that. I think if Tuchel, once he's got a couple of his own, he's been playing with other people's players, hasn't he? Let's be honest about it, Angus. If he can bring in a couple of guys that suits him, could do less of the histrionics, but I think that's a German thing, isn't it? German managers. But I agree, Angus, mate. Liam and O'Gara at the game on Saturday. Close they would have been. Yeah, well, Angus, what can you say? I mean, they don't get on very well, do they, mate? But say they sort of get where Castrol wouldn't, as far as City's concerned. But hey, you perhaps have earned that right, being who they are and what they are, and got plenty of money, haven't they, to go to these things? So there you go. T-Mac, how was the penalty not checked properly? If that had been a boot on the other foot, it would have been screwed. Yeah, I mean, I didn't see many, I very literally didn't see many images, T-Mac, of that, did we? And this is what I said on the review. I was a bit disappointed. How come there's no great shakes over angles and looking at these things? But, that's how it is. Morecambe, right. Okay, Chris. So Morecambe, so pity for the other guys. Michael, 2011-19 we need more FA Cups like United. Dead right. Liverpool United won loads with 70s and 80s, and United 90s. That's what I think, Michael. That's what I personally think. Because Pete's quite right, and we've done well. We've won 10 out of the last 15 domestic trophies, but five of those have been the Carabao Cup, haven't they? Or at least 4 of them. Which, let's face it, we only play our B team most of the time, and all the other clubs do as well. But so it's the FA Cup, isn't it? It's the FA Cup we've got to be winning. And say United and Liverpool have certainly got a few notches on that belt during those times, didn't they? Although we're catching them up now, aren't we? We caught Liverpool up with the Carabao Cup. But we're a bit behind, I think, on FA Cups, aren't we, and league titles, just a little bit. Morgan, Easy from Palace, and Fit and Ireland, Easy looks interesting. Abu, Manchester has to compete with the top 4 next season, get a top striker. Can it continue as false 9 of Chelsea? Rumoured to sign Lukaku or Haaland, who knows? Especially, I think Chelsea will play the money, Abu. I think they will. I think they got a bit of money left. I know they spent a lot last season, but I think they had a couple of seasons with, didn't they? So it wouldn't surprise me, Abu. T-Mac, how did Ruger stay on the pitch? No intention. Yeah, he just stood there though, T-Mac, didn't he? I've watched it. I'm not too sure. He just stood there and put his shoulder out. He got away with it, didn't he? But I mean, you can't. I don't know. What do you guys think? T-Mac thought it was deliberate. It should have been a straight red. I don't think the ref's going to give that as a straight red, to be honest with you. If he give a red and VAR come into it, I don't think they would have overturned it. But it's one of those, isn't it? Angus, at least City won something. United bottle the season, especially. Yeah, well, that's the only saving grace, Angus. And United fans were celebrating as though they'd won a cup themselves. But you can't blame them. I know United fans at my work were ready to jump on me on Thursday when I go back. So it's just how it is. T-Mac, United went from 2 until without the FA Cup. Arsenal overall more. Right, T-Mac, yes. Yeah, Arsenal have done well in the FA Cup, haven't they? They seem to do that. Yeah, as I said, I thought United might have struggled just a little bit. So, they didn't win as many perhaps as they should have done, should they? And that's FA Cups. It is an hard cup to win, isn't it? Let's face it. It obviously is. It's not the Carabao, is it? I hear Jack Grealish will join City, Angus. Again, Angus, if they're asking silly money, I can't see it, to be honest with you. His eyes, right, T-Mac. I'd have to look at that again, T-Mac. I've not really seen it back or anything, but if he's done it deliberately, then he deserves to be red carded. Angus, T-Mac Arsenal better than Man United, obviously. Yeah, well, the FA Cup, perhaps. Yeah, Michael, become a really big club. We need to get a few doubles and get that champion. Well, that's it, Michael. I mean, that's the only thing stopping us. As I say, I've said all along, we've got a great team. We've got some great players. And yes, it's nice to win 2 trophies. Of course it is, but we should be while the going's good, make the most of it. You see, it's like in business. When your business is booming, that's when you work harder, and that's what City should be doing. We're booming, so should be working harder, and Pep and the team should be working harder to do bigger and better things. Chris, Morecambe 1-0 penalty. Oh, it wasn't a penalty. No contact on the Morecambe player, but I can't wait. Have they not got VAR, Chris, for that? I don't think they will have, will they? Even though it's at Wembley, because it's a lower league, isn't it? They don't have VAR. Big Morgan, United fans, what do you expect from a pig but a grunt? Yes, well said, Morgan. Angus, Chris, I hope so too. Peter Davies, would you like Harry Kane? Would you agree to Jesus going in another? I like Jesus, Peter. I don't really want him to go. I think we've got potential there with Jesus, and I don't think it's been quite realised yet. And I thought it was fantastic for the 15-20 minutes he played on Saturday. Absolutely put his all in. I mean, apart from Walker, I would say Jesus was our star man for the amount of time he's come on. Of course, the only thing with Harry Kane I don't like, Peter, is he's a bit of a snide. I don't like the dirty side of it. You'd have to have a grip on that, because I don't want my players to be dirty. But there you go. But I don't think Levy's going to let him go for any sort of low amount, is he, mate? So I don't even think Harry Kane's on the cards. He's going to want at least 120 million, surely. And there's no way City going to pay out 120 million for a player, is there? And then pay the wages as well. I just can't see it. Carlisle been in League One many times. Is he more for the first time on League One levels? Yeah, well, that's it, Chris. Yeah, it's but you know, all right. The bit arsey, the fans, but for the players and the club, I suppose they're decent guys. Are they? All credit to them. No VAR, Chris. Yeah, I didn't think they were in the lower leagues, obviously. I thought the ref wasn't great. We didn't turn up, and Chelsea not too. Yeah, T-Mac. I think the ref was bad for both teams, but he, like a lot of refs this season in the Premier League and the Champions League, they seem to let some things go and other things they sort of clamp down on. There's no sort of consistency, and it never used to be a problem in the Champions League. But I think the last couple of seasons, I think the refs in the Champions League have been so inconsistent, and this VAR has definitely had an effect on it. This definitely has an effect on the back of the minds as well. Don't forget with referees. I think if you didn't have VAR, I think you see some totally different refereeing performances, to be honest with you. I think again, so a lot of it's in here with that VAR. I think they're making decisions they wouldn't normally make under normal circumstances. I think that's had a big effect on the referees as well, not just on the game as a whole. I like Jesus, Peter. Yeah, I wouldn't want to swap him. I think there's great potential there, mate. I do think with Jesus. T-Mac, congratulations to Black. Yeah, well done to Blackpool. Fantastic. Yeah, there's a bit of a soft spot for Blackpool. I used to go there as a kid. I used to love it, and it's nice to see, and all of what they went through as well, T-Mac. Obviously, it's nice to see those stories, isn't it? And obviously, Brentford, we've got to say well done to Brentford as well, haven't we, guys? For that'll be great to playing Brentford a couple of times next season, hopefully with the crowds back. Keith Curl managed Carlisle for a bit, right, T-Mac? Yeah, where is he now? He's still managing now, isn't he, T-Mac? I don't know where he's at the moment, Keith Curl. My lad's first ever Old Trafford derby was Keith Curl equalised from the penalty spot. That was the first ever Old Trafford derby he went to with me. We've not actually been to that many Old Trafford. He's either been on his own or I've been on my own. That's one of the only ones we've gone together and been together. Keith Curl scored that penalty for City. Curl's at Oldham, right, Chris? Yeah, okay. And yeah, I thought he'd gone somewhere. But again, he's one of these managers that just goes from club to club, isn't it? Without really doing anything fantastic. He's just these journeyman managers who manage these lower league clubs that earn I think they earn a reasonable wage, don't they? Let's be honest about it. They certainly earn more than I do at Aston. They earn plenty more than minimum wage, don't they? But yeah, how did Oldham do this year? I know Bolton did well, didn't they? Bolton got promoted, didn't they? I was quite happy for Bolton. I don't mind Bolton. There's a Bolton fan at work that's a good lad. He used to sort of say nice things about City, but I don't think they like United, so that'll do for me. Yeah, they got promoted as well. Chris, I'm bitter about Marc going up. Well done to the club and players. Not saying well done. Well, this is it. Well, if they're going to go and cause trouble, Chris, you don't really want it, do we? It's bad enough. I think there's a little bit of trouble in Porto, wasn't there? But there's bound to be. Talk a few lads, heat, a bit of drinks, cockneys and northerners. There's going to be some trouble. I don't think it was extensive by any means. It wasn't mass brawls, was it? And running, you know, like running fights or anything. But it's just it does happen a bit more. Chris, do you see much violence at Carlisle, Chris, when you go to there? Is there a lot of? Is there any real trouble, or is it just the odd sort of bits of it? As you say, Morecambe caused trouble, but is it quite a long way up, isn't it? It's one of those grounds that a lot of away fans probably won't try and get to. Am I right or wrong? I know I've been to Carlisle myself just to stay there for a couple of nights and stuff, but yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with that, Chris. At the end of the day, it's like anything. I wouldn't totally agree with you, mate. Well done to the players, but not so much for the fans if they're idiots, which there's a few knocking about, isn't there? But as I said, I think the things in Porto with City and Chelsea fans were sort of sporadic. I don't think they were widespread, which is good. But I've no love for Chelsea, to be honest with you. I don't particularly. I won't say I've had any run-ins, but you know, it's been a bit loud when we played them at Wembley and stuff, and at Chelsea. But there you go. See, Marc, remember the Hull manager who gave his half-time? Yeah, at the Etihad, he's another Jew. Yeah, well, this is it. See, Marc, Phil Brown. Yeah, I mean, they make a living, don't they? I mean, any footballer playing in, English guys anyway, you play at a reasonable level. I mean, you can go into management and earn a good living, can't they? Let's be honest about it. It's a nice job. I don't think there's a lot of pressure, do you? I mean, I remember picking my Sunday team once or twice, and I coached me lads' junior school team for a few games and stuff like that. But yeah, it's not a bad life, is it? It's very rare that they don't walk into another job, is it? Let's be honest about it. It's it's hard to get to the very top. Of course, it is. That's where the pressure is. But yeah, I mean, they do sort of do the rounds at these clubs, don't they? You know, all these until they get too old to do it, and then they just retire, don't they? Until, I mean, Mr. Allardyce, is he retiring? I mean, Pellegrini, is he retiring? You know, I expect him to retire. He's getting on a bit, isn't he? But it's not a bad life. I don't think it's a bad life being a football manager. I think, as I say, there is a lot of stress. But then you get a 3-year contract. You get sacked after 18 months. You get part of your contract paid, so you can go away for a couple of months and then come back and manage someone else. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not as bad as getting up at 2 a.m. to go to work at the local supermarket, is it? It's, I think I'd swap. I think I would swap either of those, to be honest with you. Allardyce to Madrid, yeah, do good. What, Atletico or Real? See, Mac. Chris, I hope Carlisle watch the pain of teams going up, and I hope that's. Well, this is it. It can only inspire you, can't it, Chris? It can only inspire teams, surely, to hope for better. But you know, you're only as good as your part. Some of your parts, aren't you? I mean, Carlisle, they'll know how good they were this season. They know they looked good for a while. Then they went off the pace. You perhaps need a few fresh faces, Chris. I mean, are they likely to bring in a lot of new players? Yeah, team at Real Madrid, Zidane's gone again. Well, there you go. Well, Zidane will end up somewhere else, won't he? Zidane, even the guys who are supposedly top managers who do the top teams, they've got enough street cred to go on and do another top team, haven't they? So you think of Zidane and Mourinho, for instance. I mean, Pochettino, was he going to go back? Is he going to go back to Spurs, guys? Pochettino, was he going to go back there? I mean, there's like different levels, isn't there? You got your journeyman guys who are League 1 and 2, and perhaps another level up for the Championship, and then you got your Premier managers who are probably hanging around the Premier League or get promoted from the Championship. It's all a little roundabout. Then you get your peak managers in the Champions League sort of teams and European teams, and they all seem to go around in the circle, don't they, from club to club? Yeah. Chris, we can all learn from mistakes. The season I'm so optimistic for Carlisle. That's the best way to do it. But I think you should be optimistic for Carlisle and Liverpool, Chris, next season. I think some good signs towards the end of the season. You'll be fine again next year. You'll be firing away. especially fans in the ground. I think that's a big thing for Liverpool, having the fans back in the ground. T-Mac, I'm just hoping this defeat doesn't have a domino effect. Yeah, I mean, in what way, T-Mac? I mean, I think certain players might be a bit miffed. I mean, this is what they're saying with these. Cancelo's not happy that he didn't play. All these players are on about leaving now, but he can only play 11. They might be a bit miffed that Sterling played, but he can only play 11 players, and he probably 10 of those players were sort of shoo-ins, weren't they? Let's be honest about it, for that Champions League game. At least 10 of them were shoo-ins. We just had one that was a bit of a dodgy one. So I don't think the players can be too uptight about it. But they can see what they can up their performance, and then they can get in, can't they? Because obviously we did struggle. We did struggle in that final, whether it's the players not knowing the positions or which for whatever reason. So you should use it as an impetus to go to improve and be better players, shouldn't it? Really, and get back in the team. Chris, we got a right manager and players. It's up to players to do it. Don't expect to get kit on and come on. Unless he's a young manager, Chris, that he can come on, be player manager and score a couple. But he picks the team. He's got the play. You can only pick what you've got. You can't suddenly drag somebody off the street, can you? But yeah, it's. So what's Carlisle's manager's sort of CV, Chris? Where's he been before that? How long do you think he'll stay, etc., etc.? Just change the comment thing, the banner thing there. Who can go and who can stay? So we're talking about that, aren't we? I say after a few people are saying they want to go, aren't they? Did they even hear that Rodri wanted to go? T-Mac, my only happy day this last week was Fergie expected to hand the trophy to United. Oh, that was good. Well, the only thing, T-Mac, is I'm glad he wasn't. I don't think he was there in Porto, was he? I don't think. I might be wrong. I might be right. I don't know. But he didn't give a team talk to Chelsea. That's where it all went wrong for us, wasn't it? Unfortunately. But yeah, he wants to leave. He wants to get away. I mean, a lot of United's problems. I know he wants to go and support them and stuff. But I think with him in the background, he just wants to go and do his horses or something, keep his horses going. Just go and have a rest, Fergie. Just enjoy the rest of your life, mate. You had a close shave, didn't you, a season or two ago? So just go and enjoy yourself. I mean, I suppose that is enjoying himself, isn't it? I suppose football's his life and horse racing, I suppose, to some extent. But yeah, I'm being a bit mean, I suppose. I think that is probably keeping him going. But don't think it does United any good, so that'll do for me anyway. Chris, before Carlisle was assistant manager at Rochdale, so Carlisle his first manager job still. Oh, that's good, mate. That's good. I mean, I'll do him well as well. Do you ever see him get him into a top position, Chris? Do you think he's got potential? Michael, let's hope Pep learns from Saturday and we come back strong next season. Very well league and Champions League. That will be a brilliant season. I would love to get a Champions League. Yeah, ignore the cups. Forget the cups. The domestic cups, put the lads out and put the second team out. And let's face it, the second team isn't lads, is it? As long as everyone's fit, it's fully experienced professionals. Now let's go for the Champions League and the league, eh? Let's go for both of those. And do we need to start prioritising? Do we need to start going for 2 or 3 like Liverpool and United do to some extent? They prioritise. I think I'm right, Chris, in that. I'm not being unfair in saying they prioritise the league and the Champions League. Usually in the season, certainly the other clubs do, and I don't know why. I don't know why teams like Arsenal and Tottenham prioritise certain things, because they'd be grateful to win cups. I know Arsenal have done very well in the FA Cup, haven't they? But yeah, I never understand that with other teams playing like Wolves and stuff like that, playing weakened teams in cup competitions. I mean, it's your chance of a trophy. I've never understood when they weaken the team. Team Matt need a left back. What we do, mate? I mean, Zinchenko's done a great job, but we still need a left back, don't we? We've sort of settled down to thinking, we'll be all right at left back now. And then you play that Champions League game, you think probably not. It's Yeah, if Andrew wants to go, that's fine. Just a lost lump at the best of times. Well, T-Mac, you'll be listening to my match reviews when he just lumbers around the pitch. But I'm not a Rodri fan, as you know. I don't think much of Rodri. Striker, definitely. Say we've got Delap next season, but we need someone up there as well, don't we? Pep needs to stop tinkering. Yeah, I think Pep needs to, if you like, yes, play backup teams for certain games, and we can expect that. But when you have your biggest gains, and and I say, did he do this with Bayern Munich? Is this why he never won the Champions League with Bayern Munich? Did he mess about, or was he just unlucky? We certainly weren't unlucky on Saturday. We just weren't good enough. It's as simple as that. But yeah, T-Mac, I mean, everything was done, wasn't it? It was just one game. It was 90 minutes, wasn't it? And that's all. That's what's painful. It was just, we didn't have to worry about a game afterwards or anything like that. It was just a fully concentrated, all right, I had 6 days to prepare, a little bit of sun, a little bit of training in Portugal. Those guys should have been up for it. I expected a bit of nerves, T-Mac. I expected a bit of nerves for 10 or 15 minutes. But once we got that through 10 or 15 minutes, I thought we settled down. I mean, John Stones was running around like a scalded cat. But, once we survived at 0-0 for 10 or 15 minutes, I thought we would come into that game and dominate it. But Chelsea never allowed us to in our formation. We never really got going. Absolutely, T-Mac. Yeah, well, that's it. Look at that team that faced PSG. The guts and the heart were there as well, wasn't it? And you can't say that on Saturday, can you? You can't say the guts and the heart was there. That goal Chelsea score, what Diaz and Stones got totally pulled out of position. And I'll pick on Zinchenko because he didn't close him down enough. He looked as though he was playing for an offside or something like that. But Zinchenko shouldn't have to be coming right across to the centre of the pitch. If we've got a back 4 and 6 midfielders, I said this in the review of the game, we got a back 4, stay as a back 4, or at least stay as a back 3, stay in some sort of formation, and they didn't. And this is the old problem. I think Pep had them playing in different things, and they just couldn't gel. You just couldn't gel as a team. It was T-Mac a bad time as well. You don't concede goals early. You don't concede goals just before half time, and you don't concede goals just after half time. I mean, the crucial times in a game. It was schoolboy errors really by us. I mean, things weren't going great that first half. All we had to do was keep tight. We needed someone on the pitch, perhaps. We had no one on the pitch to actually get the players organised, and that's another worry. We didn't have Ferner on the pitch, to actually get that back 4 organised, get the midfield, have a talking. Did anyone bollock anybody? Did anyone have a go at each other? This is what annoys me. When it's going well, great. When we're stuffing teams, when we're on a 21-match unbeaten run, it's fantastic. But that's not when we need this when things aren't going well. We need a player on that pitch. I mean, Diaz has got the potential to be it, to actually get that team organised, because Pep doesn't seem to do it after. So Pep just seems to watch on and believe what he's done is good enough to win that game. He doesn't change anything. He won't change anything. He never does until the last knockings of the game. Chris, Carlisle manager's good enough for us. He was wanted in January, and they were topped by Fleetwood. There you go, Chris. Well, that's good, isn't it? When other teams want him. Yeah, Chris, well, it is a rant. As long as you guys agree with me, I don't mind ranting as long as I'm not going totally off wall with it. What do you think, Chris? I mean, just to talk from a neutral point, did you watch the game? Do you agree what I'm saying? We just lacked a leader on that pitch. We just lacked composure. And as I said, Pep, until the 60-yard minute, he's never going to make a substitution. He's never going to make a tactical change. So someone on that pitch has to have the kahunas to stand up and do something. KDB didn't do it. He didn't stand up as a captain and take responsibility. And as I say, by the time he got injured, he was having an awful game. Cheers, Chris. Michael, Spurs have not won FA Cup in over 30 years. Don't know why they don't go for cups the same with Everton. Last trophy they won, the media was always going on about us, and 1974. Well, that's it, Michael. I mean, if City weren't, if City didn't have the players and the money and everything we've got now, yeah, of course I'd be happy with an odd FA Cup and League Cup. But it's the position we're in. We're not at York away now. We're not down in the dregs. We are what we are, and as what we are, we've got to put as many trophies in that cabinet as we can while things are good. Because There's nothing to say it won't be good, but there's nothing. You tell Liverpool 30 odd years ago that they weren't going to win the title again. I mean, you don't know what's around the corner. You tell United that they weren't going to win the title for 7, 8, 9 years and still be struggling to do it. I mean, we just don't know, do we? You've got to make hay whilst the sun shines. T-Mac, imagine like a company, Silvatore and Zabra, they would have been up for you. This is it. We wanted Walkers, didn't we? We wanted at least 6 or 7 Kyle Walker's attitude on that pitch on Saturday. We needed to match the fact that Chelsea had that in spades with their guys. You can say what you like about Rudiger, but he got away with it, and he played. I mean, that block he did from Phil Foden, that was going in the goal. Absolutely fantastic. That's what we saw against PSG in the second leg, wasn't it? In the semi-final, that's what we saw Diaz doing and Stones doing. And it never even came to that because our formation at the back, they never even got the option to defend because we've just got... Time and time again, I said it before, Chelsea scored lots of goals against us the last 2 games, and a lot of them were offside. So we had to tighten up, but we didn't. Within 5 minutes, he'd had a great chance, and then he had another one with Werner within 10 minutes. So, and what did Pep do? Did he tighten it up? Did he? Heck, he didn't do anything. He just watched it. He just sat there and watched Chelsea have at least 4 clear-cut chances in that first 20 minutes. The writing was on the wall, so change the bloody thing. T-Mac, Joro was the last manager in silverware with Everton, the FA Cup and the Charity Shield. Well, that's it. And, Everton have had some good, strong teams, some good, steady teams, where you can perhaps win it. All right. The trouble is, all right, they might get beat by us in an FA Cup, but then we'll get beat by someone like Chelsea. But, I mean, Everton are a team that should be winning the odd cup, and say, but it's not easy, is it? It's not easy to say. It's not easy when City are about when we're on form, because even though we might cock it up ourselves, we can usually beat the likes of Everton as such if they get drawn against us. They didn't, Chris. They didn't lay a glove on Chelsea. Apart from that Foden attempt that Rudiger somehow managed to block and spooned up into Mendy's hands. That was the only real big chance, and that bloody thing at the end where Mahrez and he wouldn't sit down for him. That was never going in. As soon as he hit it, he knew it wasn't going in. But obviously they made a big thing of that. But you're quite right, Chris. He didn't. It was shocking. I mean, Chelsea did enough, and I think they thoroughly deserved it. All right, they only had one more shot than us, but I think they looked as though they could score. We very rarely looked as though we could score. We went back to where, we need a striker. We know midfielder. We've got 6 midfielders on, but none of them are doing it. So where's the striker? Walker's throwing the ball into the box for the last 10 minutes. Where's Edin Dzeko? Where's the big guys for that to work? It just wasn't working. Michael, we have money now. You are right, Bernard. We need to do business now. Let's get back in the league next season. Yeah, it'll be tough, Michael. You've got Liverpool to contend with. You've got, I think United will be better again. I know they seem to always come back from the dead this season. And you've got Chelsea. So you've got at least 3 teams there that are quite capable, I think, of winning that league next season. Of those 4, City, Chelsea, Liverpool and United, I think United are probably the least likely. But you never know. They buy Haaland. Let's be honest about it. They only have to put the money in the pocket, and they will. They will pay for Haaland. They will pay for Kane. And that'd be a great loss for City. And be a great loss for Chelsea and Liverpool and everybody else if Haaland or Kane go to United. Well, that's it, T-Mac. That's what, well, again, within the constraints of FFP, but that's been relaxed, hasn't it? So I don't know what the rules are, but United won't bolt from paying 120 million for Kane or 140 million for Haaland and then paying him 500 grand a week. It won't bother him. It doesn't matter. United can whinge about the managers, the Glazers, etc., but they will certainly be up there, and City won't. I tell you what, City won't be paying anything like that sort of money. Next season, Liverpool win league and Carlisle win promotion. That'd be perfect. Well, for you, Chris, mate, not for us. But I'll tell you what, you can have the league as long as you guarantee me the Champions League. I'll take that next season. I'm not bothered. Is that a fair trade, Chris? T-Mac, I'd bring Dzeko back for a season. Need that sort of striker who is good with feet and head, like Niall Quinn was. Yeah, I mean, we've got Delap, haven't we, T-Mac? I think he's a good big lad, isn't he? I mean, but he's a bit early yet, isn't he? I know he's in the first team squad next season, but it's a little bit early for him to start pulling up trees and being a regular, isn't it? But cheers, Chris. I think we'll go with that. I'll be happy with that, mate. I'll tell you what, I'll be happy with that. We'll both be like pigs in muck next year if that happens, mate. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't think. Well, who is there? Any? I say Danny Ings is a potential, isn't he? I've got a Southampton fan at work. He loves Danny Ings. He's dreading that. But yeah, I've got everyone at work: Southampton, Liverpool, United, City, Bolton. Yeah, bit of a mishmash at our work. But anyway, it's all sorted next year, lads. We're winning the Champions League. Liverpool are winning the league. We'll let them have it. I'll let them have it if I can get the Champions League. Or Chris, if we both get to the final, we beat you in the final. That might be a better deal as well. Michael, United will want to keep their supporters on side, so they will, Michael. Yeah, I mean that's all they have to do. The Glazers, just, I mean, these guys will just, they were gutty when they lost the Europa League, but a week early they were slagging off the Glazers, but they would have loved to have won that trophy, even though it's a Mickey Mouse European Losers Trophy. Of course they would, but yeah, that's what United do. That's all they need to do. To say that, it wouldn't surprise me if Haaland or Kane don't end up at Old Trafford this season, and that'll keep them happy. To be honest with you, plus another player or two. And yeah, I think it will give them potential to actually win that league next season. Believe it, if they have the luck, they have the ability to come back from the dead like they did time after time this season. Let's face it, it's only City's run that stopped them. Let's be honest about it, guys. It was only that magnificent run of City that actually stopped United winning the title this season. Just think about that. Just have a look at that. What do you think about that, Chris, as well? That was the only thing that stopped United winning that amazing run that City went on. Otherwise, it was United's this season. Let's not mess about with it. It would have been United's league title. How depressing would that have been? Yeah, T-Mac, I was speaking to the Southampton guy, and he said Ings isn't that bad for injuries. He's one of their... He plays in a lot of games. So I thought he was injury prone. So unless he's thrown me a wobble with that one, but T-Mac, I said that to him, and he said, well, no, he's one of their most regular players, Ings, but I thought he was always injured, like you said there. Does anyone else know about Danny Ings' appearances? Because I thought he was always injured as well, but I was told by the Southampton fan that no, he's very rarely injured. He plays a lot of games, but he's 3 o'clock in the morning. He's probably not all there at that time. Jimenez, yeah, he had his moments, didn't he, T-Mac? But I don't think he's improved that much, has he? Chris, United will pay ridiculous. They will, Chris. I mean, that's one thing United will do. Even Liverpool don't do that, like City don't, do they? I don't think they go silly. But United are perhaps the only team. Perhaps Chelsea have the potential to do it, but Abramovich is no mug, is he? He's not going to pay silly money particularly. He'll just sack his manager and say we've played rubbish if it doesn't work out. Ings' injury's not as bad as it looks. Well, this is it, Chris. I mean, as I said, I've heard he's not that bad injury-wise. But as I said, I always had the impression that he was quite injury-prone, like T-Mac said there. How much help United have if this is unbelievable, T-Mac? Well, that'll continue. As long as this VAR is still going on, mate, they'll get that anyway. They'll have as many, have another 100 penalties next season, won't they? And they've got a guy who can score them, which is more important. And now, Andy, mate, you're right, bud. Andy Ragal will only fork out hundreds of funds for Haaland or Kane if we bring home 50% of the outlay by selling Sterling and or Jesus. Even then, they will go to a club that is able to sell. Well, that's it, Andy. Yeah, I totally agree with you there, mate. City aren't just going to fork out that sort of money. Unless there's some sort of deal for a player that we don't particularly want. And I just can't see it happening, Andy. What do you think? Can you see it happening? T-Mac, when he joined Liverpool from Burnley, he was struck with injury. Well, Chris just said there he played a lot of games when he was at Liverpool as well. So perhaps he has been struck with injury, but he does get a lot of games in as well, T-Mac. It's a bit like Harry Kane. He gets a lot of injuries, but a lot of it's little niggly things, isn't it? He's not out for months. Sometimes he'll be out for 3 or 4 weeks and then he'll be back. Because I always think Harry Kane's quite injury prone, but I think that's it might be the same with Ings. Great stream burner. Cheers, Michael. Going to have my tea now, so I'm going to leave the chat now. Yeah, no problem, Mike. Thanks for coming on, mate. Enjoy the rest of your bank holiday. William K. Crimea River, Manchester. We're not crying, mate. We're just having a chat. I mean, who are you from, mate? Who do you support, William? We're not crying. We're just having a little chat, mate. How can we cry? We've got 2 trophies in the cabinet. We're not unhappy with that. We're just. It's a shame we just couldn't put a 3rd one in. That's all. But we're not going to cry. It's just one of those. I mean, I have to cry over, the players will cry. It means a lot to them, of course, and some fans, it means a lot to some fans. But hey, there's always next year, isn't there, mate? If you, depending on who you support, you probably know that yourself, William. Who do you support, mate? Doesn't matter. I got this from someone last week, William. It does matter who you support. Don't. Someone said it doesn't matter. Yeah, I mean, why cry me a river, Manchester City fans? What reason have you got to say that? Obviously, you don't like City, but who do you support? I mean, you know, you're going to come on and say something. You know, stand up for yourself. Tell us who. You know, you could support Burnley, and all credit to you. Or you could support Barnsley or something. Yeah, well, this is it, T-Mac. It's just pathetic. It's just so sad, William. Just tell us who you support. We can have a good conversation, or you can just go away, mate. It doesn't matter. You know, there's no point in just coming on and being silly. I support Chelsea. I congratulate you. You played a great game. If you thoroughly deserved it, William. We're not going to cry over it. You thoroughly deserved the victory. Plastic Oil Money Club. Yeah, of course. Yeah, well, I was there in '66, mate. Was there much oil then? Oh, there you go. Well, you're a Chelsea support. You should be happy. I mean, you talk about Oil Money Club. Yeah, have you looked at yourself, mate? Have you looked at who you're owned by and where he got his money from? He probably killed a few people in the past to get all his money, because you don't become an oligarch in Russia without stepping on a few toes, and that's being kind, isn't it? Let's be honest about it. But there you go. It's such a sad thing to say that you don't even realise that how hypocritical, how silly that comment is, mate, supporting Chelsea and calling City a plastic oil money club. You're absolutely, you know, you want to think back to the 70s, mate, when City and Chelsea used to play each other and we used to get on and stuff like this. You're obviously young, you're obviously not an older guy, you probably don't know much about history anyway, but read up a little bit about it, mate, and come back then. Chelsea, Russian Oil, United, and that's it, T-Mac. I mean, they don't even know their own history. Obviously, I think Chelsea done extremely well. I'll always stick up for Chelsea. They've done really well in the Cups. And I always think there's a lot of similarities to City, and obviously they've been very lucky. Like you know, they didn't have FFP to contend with when the Russian guy came in, so they could spend what the hell they wanted and win all those trophies. Obviously, they weren't stymied by that, but we were, weren't we? He doesn't know his arse from his elbow. He probably doesn't, William. But anyway, mate, go on money oversights and just enjoy the victory, mate. You did really well. All credit to you. Good. Hope you have a good season next season. You should do too. Coles seems to be doing okay, and considering he's not got his own team together as yet, he's playing with other guys. He's done really well. Andy doesn't know his. No, I don't know, mate. Kane possibly as a mentor for Delap. Likes, yeah, good point, Andy. Delap, yeah, like Silva did for Foden. Ferran and Tika with Pep will have someone in mind that we know nothing about, like we do. Yeah, because I think that's what we do, Andy. I don't think we go out and buy the Kanes and the Haalands. I think there'll be someone else lined up. You know, Aguero wasn't. You know, he was a great player, wasn't he? He was a really good player, but you know, he wasn't up there with the level of other people who were talking about. And I think that's what City do. And I don't think we'll change that model. I think we'll always do that, mate. Should be. Why are they cheats, William? What cheats? What are they cheated over? I think there was a court case and we were found not guilty, weren't we, mate, of cheating? But there you go. Perhaps I'm wrong. Perhaps you might have a word with Rudiger and ask him about cheating and deliberately poleaxing a player. How about that? You've got cheats playing for you, haven't you, as well? That's a shame. Give us a like anyway, William, if you're on, mate. Give us a like while you're on. That's nice. Anyway, it's fantastic, that. Well, no, we worked in FFP, mate. It was proven that we didn't go against FFP. So what are you talking about? Chelsea were a cup side late 90s, like you say, when Bramwich came, he was more or less brought in, signed his squad and could win things straight. Well, that's it. Yeah, they didn't have FFP to worry about, you see. If they'd had FFP then, they would have been cheats, obviously, because he wouldn't have been able to stick to it like we had to stick to it 10 years later, obviously, or whatever it was. So, yeah, I mean, Chelsea were always a good cup side. I did my little thing on the 70-71 games with Chelsea in the European Cup Winners' Cup semi-final. He had some good battles with Chelsea, and proper fans will know this, you know, but obviously fans who don't know much come out with crap, like obviously William is. Yeah, we did well. We started winning things, William. We may have won some. We may have won the odd cup without oil money, but yeah, we won the lottery, mate. But so what? So did you. You won it. You did the lottery as well. When did you win your first league title? Was it about 50 years after? FA Cup first major trophy. I think it was 50 years after City, wasn't it, mate? But you won't know that because you don't know anything about history, probably. You talk about famous clubs and history and stuff like that, mate. It's not to do with oil money. You can quote Middlesbrough beat us by 8 goals, but the same season we did the double over the champions United, so it doesn't mean anything, mate. You just you have to find out these. You have to read. Can you read? Oh, you can write. I assume you can read, mate. Just read up a little bit on other football clubs' history. No, he's a bit blunt, T-Mac, but he's fine. He's all right. He's not getting abuse. He's not swearing. He just obviously needs to learn a little bit, and perhaps he needs to, when he's back in school after the summer holidays, he might be all right. Do you go to the games, William? Are you a regular in the shed, or showing me age? Liquidation is about the thesaurus, even if it's the most relevant object to describe City's financial position. Well, that's it, Andy. I mean, they don't know, do they? No one really knows. I mean, let's not forget, William, if you're still there, mate, when City's takeover happened, there was no such thing as FFP. So these guys who came in and bought City didn't realise they would have to work to all these constraints. So City had actually paid out loads of things. You don't go, mate. That's all right, mate. You might not live near enough, but that's fine. Yeah, so when the Sheikh took over, there was no such thing as SFP, William. It was actually brought in after the Sheikh took over and after we started spending money. And we had to look back at what we'd spent and actually try and alter things. We couldn't do it. We couldn't. Obviously, we'd already spent money, and these new rules came in. And then when the new rules came in, they actually changed them again. So even though we actually worked within them, they actually moved the goalposts again. So they made it so we'd failed FFP. Because this is what we had to put up with, mate. But as a football fan, you should be sort of looking at this and say it's disgraceful. It doesn't matter who you support. This was just brought in to protect the elite, and Chelsea weren't the elite, mate. You're still not the elite as far as Europe's concerned, as far as UEFA's concerned. You might be getting there like we want to get there, but they wanted to protect the Real Madrids, the Barcelonas, and all the Milans and all stuff like that. I mean, they didn't want to protect Chelsea by bringing this FFP in. So you were very, very lucky that you got a lot of your success before this FFP was even brought in. T-Mac, if there'd been FFP back in the 80s, United would be struggling. Hello, Steve. How you doing, mate? Yeah, we're all right, mate. We're just chatting to William Kay, who's a Chelsea fan, but we're just trying to put him right. But it is a little bit of hard work. But he doesn't go to the games, which is fair enough. He might not live near Stamford Bridge. You can't blame him for that. But I'm all right, Steve, mate. Barcelona, Real Madrid, Juventus still not leaving Super League. Well, this is it, Chris. I mean, what are they going to do? Play between themselves? I mean, I don't understand any logic in that at all. I don't understand, Chris, why all these top clubs didn't just get together. I mean, obviously they would have a problem with UEFA and FIFA with the players playing for the countries and just form their own league and just say, well, there is other teams that are able to get into it and be a much fairer system. They would have done all right if they'd done it on a better system, but that's not what they wanted, was it? They wanted the fact they didn't want to be out of that system, so it was the greed came into it. They didn't want to be out of the top 15 or however many clubs it was, and it's such a shame. It's such a shame that they looked at it like that. Close the door now. When will Crystal Palace win a cup? I don't know. What do you think? Crystal Palace, again, they've not got a bad team. They play all right. I think now, is he gone? Is he going, the manager now? I think they'll do all right, mate. Close the door. There's always potential for a cup, isn't there? I mean, the only thing with someone like Crystal Palace, if you end up playing someone like Liverpool or City or United in a quarter-final or a semi-final, that's it probably knocks it on the head, but you can certainly get to a final and you can certainly perhaps win a cup, and it's just a matter of keep going, isn't it, mate? That's all it is. T-Mac, City's owners are spending their own money, and look at that's been done in a decent amount of the ECL. FFP was brought in to protect the cartels as soon as it was T-Mac, and we know that. And anyone who says anything different doesn't really know anything about it. Clubs have been denied the opportunity to Andy speculate to accumulate, make profits. Take Everton, Newcastle, they won't be able to do it. What remains? Yeah, well, we'll have to see what happens at FFP, Andy. It might all be changing now, but UEFA are no angels by any means. We know that. But we'll have to see what happens after all this COVID things, and I still expect City to try and sting us some way. Wilfred Zaha's a bad attitude. Hope he leaves. All right, yeah. I mean, I like Zaha, mate, but yeah, he's always seemed to be angling for a move, hasn't he? But he's never left. Is that because no one's bid enough for him, or? Yeah, I say he's never been my favourite, but I know what you're saying. I appreciate what you're saying, but yeah, he's sort of still there, isn't he? Is he going to be going now? Is it too late to kick him out, or is he going to wait for a new manager, etc., etc.? Chris, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Juventus ruining their legacy and history by saying, well, they are, Chris. I mean, obviously it's there and it's got the history, but it's just pathetic, Chris. It's like throwing your toys out of the pram, isn't it? It's that sort of state with him. Steve, Dyche's favourite for the Palace job. I wonder how that might... Well, Dyche isn't going to really win them much, is he? Close the door now, as Steve was saying there. If Dyche goes to Palace... But then again, he's a steady manager, isn't he? But perhaps, if you know, they have got a little bit of money, but I don't know. Has he passed his peak, Dyche, now? Is he sort of on his way down? Has he reached the top and he's sort of as far as he's going to go and then he's coming back down again? Gary Neville said there's nothing wrong with City's owners. Well, T-Mac, I think they're very good owners. They make mistakes. All people do. All execs, all guys in suits do make mistakes. They don't sometimes think about the small man, the little man. But I tell you, I wouldn't have anyone else at the moment, T-Mac, from all the owners for the big clubs. I wouldn't have anyone. I wouldn't have that Russian guy, that's for sure. I wouldn't have United's American guys. I'm not too sure about Liverpool's guys as well. They're I'm not too sure. I don't know what Chris thinks about his owners, but I think the best of a pretty bad bunch, aren't they? Ironic, really, that UEFA want to protect the top teams and the top teams want out. Well, this is it, Steve. I mean, I mean, who votes for these UEFA things? I mean, surely they have to have the clubs' agreement to have all these more games played in the UEFA Cup from certain things, but in the Champions League from certain years. I mean, surely all the big top clubs have to agree to that. I mean, do they just pass the rules and no one gets a say? It just seems a bit daft to me. Nuno's been linked to Palace now as well. All right, okay, yeah. I think he might stay in England. I think he won't like the weather, will he? Close the door, but I'm sure that'd be a more interesting one for Palace. I think, because as I say, I do think Palace like to try and play bright, entertaining football. I don't think Dyche is probably on that level, is he? Let's be honest about it. Close the door for you. So Nuno would be a good shout. Team at Leeds were a club who borrowed money and didn't make a return. We all know what happened. FFP, the way they dress up FFP is funny. It is, mate. Well, Leeds just put everything. They did like City did. Did you think when Swales was there? You know, he took a chance. Leeds. City did the same, money wise, and it left us in the muck, and it left Leeds in the same. You know, they made the same sort of error. But as I said, if things went, just a little bit of luck, it might have been totally different. But it wasn't to be, was it? Arsenal, United, yeah. So fair enough, Chris. So you're quite happy then, mate. As I said, I don't remember seeing much about that. Liverpool fans, to be honest with you, quite right. Close the door. Dyche is depressing. Yeah, close the door. I would say, if you compare to Nuno, I would definitely think so, mate. Yeah, I think Dyche. I think he's on that downward slope now. I don't think he's going to do anything for any club. T-Mac, what Neville was saying is that there's money to spend and not borrow. Why should we be limited at FFP to protect the elites? Yeah. I don't, as I say, Neville is another one. He says one thing and does another. He's a bit of a hypocrite, isn't he? But as I say, he's gone back to his United roots. I think Neville very big. I mean, he was all right for a bit. He seemed quite a neutral sort of pundit, but now he's gone back to his fully fledged United roots. I think so. I don't take much notice of him now. Steve Black, plenty of charlatans on these clubs. Ours are not in the bracket. Pretty slow. Yeah, I mean, you look at Taxing, mate. Look at Steve. Look at Taxing when he came in, and it turned out well for us, didn't it? But what a disaster that was. And he was proven to be by the Premier League to be acceptable, wasn't he? This rule they have to follow. But I mean, that was an absolute nightmare. It turned out okay in the end, didn't it? But of course, there's plenty of charlatans. Look at teams like Portsmouth who've been sold down the river. Bolton. Sorry, Blackburn. Blackburn have had trouble with the owners and stuff like that, haven't they? Plenty of shit. Yeah, Andy, I just said Portsmouth. Yeah, quite right, mate. The Portsmouth the same. Giddy Mark, that is what FB should have been about, stopping gangsters like him wrecking. That's it, Portsmouth, as I said. I think Blackburn were struggling, weren't they? With they had the legacy of Walker and that sort of sold down the river. Chris, I still want owners out there. I'm not as bad as Glazers and Cronkite. Yeah. No, as Chris, as I said, I think they keep their heads down, mate, don't they? Which is fair enough. They keep their heads down most of the time. I don't know. It's one of them, says Chris. Birmingham and Carson Young. What's that, T-Mac? Birmingham and Carson Young. Oh, right, the owner. Yeah, sorry, mate. I was miles away there. I was thinking of something else. Yeah, and they're supposed to be proper, they're probably judged by the FA and the leagues that these are good owners. I mean, no, as you say, we were, having said that, mate, you go back to the days of Francis Lee taking over and stuff like that. It didn't work out, mate, and he was obviously you couldn't have asked at the time for a better option for City, and he certainly wasn't going to screw City to the ground. But I'm not overly sure he came out of it too badly in the end. But it is hard, isn't it? Yeah, I think we are, T-Mac. I think we are very well run. I think Liverpool have done very well recently. I think they've improved a lot recently. Bringing Klopp in sort of steadied it, hasn't it, and put them up there again. So I think that, but as I say, couldn't disagree with you, T-Mac, there. Andy Ragsinatra actually consolidate all of our share enable sheet. This is it. I think he did a good job in the end by, I think, actually allowed the sale to go quite easily, didn't it? I think that said it was a good thing in the end, even though it was a bit of a struggle. He never could get his money out of wherever it was, could he? That was one of his problems. How difficult would a buyout have been if Caldoon had to deal with multiple? That's it, Andy. Yeah, I mean, you can force these things, can't you? But it leaves bad blood, doesn't it? Steve, sad day that Conor agreed to join Barcelona. I can see Kane at Chelsea going to Chelsea now. Do you think Kane Chelsea? Yeah, as I say, Steve, I can see Kane at Chelsea or United. I certainly don't see him at City. Chris Welch, these owners were back clubs in transfer and Arsenal with Pep, 72, Man United, Pogba. Now. Yeah, they will, Chris. I mean, this is it. When they have to put their hands in their pockets, they will, but they make sure they take their old dividends out as well, don't they? That's the thing. They make sure they get the money's worth. Franny Lee's intentions. That's what I'm saying to you, Mac. It was absolutely, we couldn't have asked for anything more at the time. I was there with all the protests, etc., etc. But it's a far bigger thing than you think, and it takes a strong person to take over these football clubs. Even back in the day, even back in the 90s and the 2000s. Never mind now. Steve, like anything else, if things go well, it's all good. If not, it's a disaster for all teams. Yeah, this is it, Steve. It's like anything. You say when Pep picks a team and we're all a bit dubious and it wins, we're happy. But when he picks a team and it's a bit dubious and it loses, he's the worst, isn't he? It's the same in football management, isn't it? It's owning a club. It's got to be the same principle, even doing that. That's off to Gary Cook. He sold City to ADUG when they were checking out Liverpool. Yeah, Andy, I've heard that these links with Newcastle were sort of tepid, to say the least. So I have heard different stories, but yeah, I have seen that. I have seen the links with Liverpool and Newcastle, obviously, but you get different versions from different people, mate. That's the thing with those. So you never quite know the whole story. T-Mac, good luck, Sergio at Barcelona. Messi going nowhere now. No, he'll stay with him for a couple of years, T-Mac, and they'll be buddies, won't they? So what a great couple of years they'll have together, because I say they're busy mates, aren't they? And well, the sun will be out for him, won't he? And I'm a bit gutted, really, but there you go. Just got away from it. Did, Steve. I think, I say, it was just too big a thing for him, Steve. I know he's a businessman, but it is. And working with us City fans ain't easy, mate. I tell you, it's not an easy life. You can tell that, can't you? From We're not happy. Well, we are happy with 2 trophies, of course we are, but we're still having a grump. We're still having a groan, but we're not easy to work with, Steve. I don't, like most football fans, we're a bit of a pain sometimes, aren't we? Let's be honest about it. Chris, all these people saying UEFA stop Super League making an announcement. Yeah, it's ridiculous. UEFA want a good scene too, Chris. They need reforming and getting rid of, but how we do that, I have no idea. Matt, Dave Bernstein. Yes, Dave Bernstein did some good stuff. I'm quite happy with David Bernstein. I think he did a great job. Sensible, and that's what you needed. That's what we needed at the time as well. So I think he did a fantastic job. I'm fairly sure. I've not heard much criticism of David Bernstein, Matt, to be honest with you. Steve, Gary Cook. I did hear that it was somewhere. Was it a few months back? He did an interview, I think, with someone. So he's all right. I think it was either Ian Cheeseman or it might have been Ray at City Fan TV. It's one of those guys. Had a little interview with Gary Cook. It could have been some other city, a city linked official thing, but he seemed all right. He was still happy. Still fond memories of City from what I saw, from what I remember with Gary Cook. Andy Ragg, bring back Billy Meredith, I say. Well, we'll have to dig him up, Andy. I think before we put his bones behind a wall at a free kick, so we don't need anyone lying there, perhaps. But you're talking legends, mate. And it's a shame he had to go to United, but there you go. That blotted his copybook just a little bit. But first genuine superstar, wasn't he? Let's be honest about it. No, I don't think he could, Steve. I mean, at the end of the day, he wasn't a money man, was he, Bernstein? He just had intelligence. He was just a good bloke, a good quality bloke to have with a bit of knowledge of things, and that's what you perhaps needed. You don't need any glamour stuff, do you? You just need someone who knows what he's doing sometimes, and Bernstein was that sort of guy, I think, Steve. The Super League will return. I heard it's going to court. UEFA versus 3 teams left in it. Steve, what are they trying to do? What is the point? Why? I mean, I don't understand what they're going to get out of it or what can happen. I have no idea. It's just very, very weird, isn't it, mate? I don't go on their websites. I don't find out what the reason is. Are the fans in uproar? I don't know. I don't hear much. I mean, they don't seem to be that bothered. I mean, but. I just don't know. I think something will happen, but UEFA have got the power, the older power of denying the players the ability to play for the countries, and a lot of the players, obviously, it's very, very important to them, as you'd expect. So FIFA and UEFA, I mean, they hold that against players, don't they? Well, of course, yes. I mean, they come up with something that didn't earn them. I mean, there'd be no point, would there? I mean, teams like Barcelona and the Milans, teams like that, and Juventus, as you say, that that have been struggling a little bit. I mean, it's all about money. I mean, they just want to be back up there winning Champions Leagues, don't they? Let's be honest about it. And they need money to do that, especially with those nasty English clubs looking as though we're starting to dominate again, which is what we've tended to do with our money and our super TV deals, etc., etc. T-Mac, stuff UEFA, bent organisation, always get there. They do, T-Mac. Yeah, and this is such a shame that we so wanted to win one of their stupid competitions. I mean, I think I told you last week or the week before, my lad wanted us to win that. And then rather than collect the trophy, just turn the back on it, do a Poznan and walk out and leave the trophy on the stand. That's what he wanted us to do, which was never going to happen, but that's what he would have liked if we had won the thing. But there you go. Andy Ragg, they're trying to find a compromise. Juventus, Barcelona, Real Madrid, and they think UEFA need them more than they. Yeah, Big Ten. Yeah, well, they've got a point, Andy, haven't they? But obviously, you're down to 3 teams now. When it was 12 teams and they stuck together, it would have been harder, wouldn't it? Let's be honest about it. But they sort of played the fans wrong. But aren't their fans in uproar then, Andy? Are they not sort of having riots and breaking into grounds and stuff like this? Are they not doing this? Are they quite happy to go along with it? The Barcelona, Real Madrid fans, have they got the passion? I've always found Real Madrid fans quite boring, to be honest with you. They don't seem to have much passion, but big test. Yeah, well, it is a big test, certainly when you've got, say, 3 big clubs going for it. Be interesting. Do you think on a better base that the Super League could return? It was not thought out about. Well, that's what I thought, Steve. I was saying earlier on, they got together and arranged it more that it was fairer. and didn't put football at risk, I think it would have had a lot of supporters, mate. I really do, but I don't think they felt 1 minute or thought 1 minute about the impact it would have on their own supporters, etc. And that was a problem. And some very clever people made some very silly decisions, and they do it. It happens. That's what business is. You don't always make the right decision, but it was a bit worrying that these so-called clever, wealthy, experienced people made some bad decisions. But yeah, I mean, I would have liked to have seen something a little bit different to challenge UEFA, a little bit better to give other chances, you know, to give your teams like Everton's and your Newcastles and all this lot still a chance to get up there. And, you know, we won the lottery, but, you know, to think that we're the last team that have that opportunity to get to the top table, it's such a shame, isn't it? I mean, we were so lucky. We get plenty of stick for it, don't get me wrong. You know, we do get plenty of stick for it. We have to take it on the chin, don't we? But we were very, very lucky. Not had much with Seb as of late, odd that. No. Well, no, I think very quiet, Mr. Sebas. Yeah, he's probably contemplating, Steve. He's probably contemplating somewhere. T-Mac Figo had a pig's head chucked at him when playing for Real at Barca. Barca fans are passionate. Well, that's what I just said, T-Mac. I never thought that with Real Madrid fans, but certainly Barcelona are okay, even though they do have a lot of. We know they have a lot of tourists. They're bound to have, aren't they? Because it's the place, it's the persona around it, obviously. But as far as it's like our passionate City fans, isn't it? As far as, you know, there's a base level there of passion that isn't quite carried over to a lot of people who just jump on the bandwagon. Andy, they are in the minds, your European royalty. As for their fans, I don't know what they think. I'm happy to be challenging domestically first, foremost, and you sell. Andy, I want to see game. I want to be playing teams like, you know, but see, it's my age as well. I want to be playing teams like Ajax and Dynamo Moscow and Gornik Zabrze and tough teams like this, you know, the teams that won things in the old Benfica, you know, I mean, they obviously hardly ever get anywhere now. That to me, that's European, but that's my age thing. Obviously, other teams have took over from that, aren't they? I mean, Porto are probably bigger than Benfica now as far as winning things, I think, but I think Benfica are still doing okay, aren't they? But it's a Portuguese league that's probably dropped a little bit. T-Mac, you ever know Villa says had owners like ours, they'd be cheers to begin with, just like us, and then be ridiculous. Well, that's it, T-Mac. Well, that's why we get. Let's face it. I had a Chelsea fan on before who even give it. Let's face it. If Chelsea fans can give City fans stick for being an oil money, I mean, there's something wrong with people's brains out there. I mean, football fans' brains are wired a bit weird, aren't they? Let's be honest about it. I mean, talk about irony. I just don't understand it. And as you said, you would get the Everton and Villa fans getting stick as well. Of course you would, because that's how people feel. And Chelsea don't think they're part of this for some reason. They don't think they won the lottery. They think they were always a fantastic team, winning leagues all the time. Sadly, they weren't. They had a good cup record, but. Yeah, I think it's delusional. I think a lot of fans are delusional, and then they take it out on other clubs and they don't know anything about history and stuff like that. T-Mac, Ajax, great club, going a very famous club. Absolutely, T-Mac. And that's me. That's my age, of course, Ajax. But they say to deny teams like Ajax the chance to get into a Champions League later stages and stuff like that, it's not right, is it? So, I mean, you know, and that's what that would have done, this Super League, wouldn't it? I first saw City live in UEFA Cup 78-79 versus AC Milan 3-0, and it meant more to me. It did, Andy. Yeah, I mean, the people go on about the nights on Anfield and Old Trafford, the European nights, but I remember some fantastic nights on the Kipax and at Main Road in these European competitions. Obviously, we didn't play the quantities that some of the other teams did, but they were great. And they were never massive crowds. They were always probably lower crowds than the league matches, but there was more passion with the fans, I think, at those games as well. Yeah, because it was 2-2, T-Mac, and obviously the first game was delayed, wasn't it? Till the next day. My brother-in-law was over there and he had to stay over. He was due to fly back and he stayed over for the second game. It cost him a fortune, I think. And we were 2-0 up, weren't we, T-Mac, in that first one in Milan, and obviously they pulled it back to 2-2, but we absolutely slaughtered them at home, and that's how it went in the European games those days. English clubs tend to struggle a little bit away from home, but the European teams never seem to travel very well. So we could always sort of have a chance of beating them at our own ground, you know, whether it's Liverpool, United, us, Forest, Villa, whoever it was in Europe at the time. Team out Manders in Scotland as well. Celtic and Rangers set to win their league and still have to qualify, won't it? Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's levels, isn't it? You say the Portuguese football now. I mean, you think of all the quality Portuguese players they are, but the good players move abroad. The good players leave that league, don't they? So that's just how it is. That's just a fact of life now. Steve, sadly, a lot of these teams you mentioned are in the debt, so become more the feeder club. That's it, Steve. It is. They just... You know, I've always admired what Borussia Dortmund have done from a footballing point of view. I don't particularly agree with the way they do things there, as in this 51%, and the fact they always bow down to Bayern Munich all the time and seem to be, you know, cowtail to them all the time. But, you know, the fact they can bring these young players, Atletico Madrid, another one. You know, they seem to get these great players, don't they? But they can't hang on to them for long. They go, don't they? But they've won enough. Atletico Madrid have actually been obviously able to win things as well. I mean, like Dortmund have, you know, but they sort of have to keep changing all the time, don't they? Because they always get the best players next. But yet they can still win European titles, can't they? Can still do it. I'm quite impressed with the way they run the things, Atletico and Dortmund. It must be quite annoying, but they do seem to manage to do it all the time, don't they? They do seem to manage to win the odd trophies and stuff like that. It's fantastic. Atletico Madrid, of course, won the La Liga, didn't they? Fantastic for them. I bet Sergio's quite happy. I'm sure he's still got a little soft spot for those. Right, guys, I'm going to call it a day. 1 hour 40 minutes. So I'm gonna pack up and just enjoy the rest of this lovely sunny bank holiday. That's all right with you lot. And there's not only 5 of us on at the moment. So thank you for coming on. My mate Andy, Mr. Last was back to Mansfield from Milan game. We're only 17. We took a taxi. £60 bill. That was good, Andy. Good memories, mate. Steve, Scotland are great players. 70s. You can't name many. How can you mention 5 or more in a heartbeat? Absolutely, Steve. I mean, don't forget, a lot of English clubs have some great Scottish players as well. Team at the age side of 94-95 went on beating domestically and won the Champions League. The people you have about Arsenal United, that age side, they were T-Mac, and they're the names you want to see, aren't they? Anyway, guys, look, thank you so much for spending a bit of your bank holiday Monday with me. It's been fantastic. I've enjoyed it. I'm not sure if we'll be back next. Obviously, during the season, there's plenty to talk about. I'll be on, but obviously, it won't be as such a regular thing for the live shows, obviously. But don't forget, there'll be loads of vlogs out there. There'll still be 2 vlogs a day, one on film and TV and one on City every day during the summer holidays. No break for Bernard here, so there'll be plenty of entertainment. And leave all your opinions and your comments on there if I'm not live. But as I said, I'll do these live things every now and then during the summer. Just if there's something to talk about, that's all right, and I'll let you know. But thanks, T-Mac, Steve, Andy, Chris earlier on, Peter, all the guys, Andy, T-Mac, all you lot anyway. Thanks for putting up with me for 1 hour and 40 minutes. Have a great time, guys. Thanks for watching. See you all soon. Bye-bye.